Hey, I'm out of Facebook jail. um, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start. As you guys know, I've been teaching Behind the Veil, and a lot of my time has actually been spent teaching the course, and I am having a great time. But that's not to say that now that I'm out of Facebook jail, I can't also share with my community, right? So today's topic is understanding how to see the non-dual way. And this is really, really, really important, okay? Because I want you to understand the design. See, this is what trips people up most times, but if we understand the design, it won't trip us up. Hey, Tara! Hey, lovely. Hi, Samaya. Anyway, you guys, so understanding the design, let's get back to that, all right? So let's talk about that. All right. As I said, what we have to understand is why we're there. That's more important than anything else. It's more important than recognizing what's in front of you. It's more important than labeling what's in front of you. It's more important than anything else you can ever understand, okay? You see, what we have to train our brain to do, what we have to train our mind to do, what we really have to learn, like a muscle that we build, okay, is to understand that what is behind our eyes is way, way more important than what's in front of them. Okay, understanding how to see. Okay, so here's an example, all right? Something that most people get confused about or they get tripped up about, right? When you appear in a situation, when you come into a situation, right? And you look at it, it appears as if it was there before you ever got there. It existed before you got there, right? And so that's what trips you up. You're like, well, how can that be me? I don't understand. It was there before I got there. Well, okay. So I'm going to give you an analogy that's going to help you understand this. Okay? Because life is nothing but a dream. All right. So the analogy is simple. Okay? The analogy goes like this. When you are dreaming, no matter what you're dreaming, in the moment, you consider that dream to be real. You consider that dream to be absolutely 100% real, okay? And you've never questioned how you got there. So even though you went to sleep, okay, you went to bed, you're cozy in your bed, in your dream, you may suddenly find yourself in high school. Or you may find yourself in the middle of a war zone. Or you'll find yourself in a parallel reality in a different point of time, but you never question how you arrived in the middle, right? You don't question it? Life is no different. It's still the same dream, my darlings. It's still the same dream, okay? Therefore, what's important to understand is the non-dual way of seeing this. I cannot stress this enough. You are the source projector of everything you see outside. So if you are tempted to look outside and see anything less than perfection, you are choosing to not correct your perception and uphold the illusion that you created by condemning your creation and yourself, and you go down with the ship. Okay? There's no exceptions to this. I need you to understand. The most important thing that will ever occur in your life is to understand why you are standing, precisely why you are standing there in that moment. Has nothing to do with upholding what you see, what's in front of you. Has everything to do with knowing you're the gatekeeper. Has everything to do with knowing that you are God. Has everything to do with knowing that you can heal it within yourself. Because the mirror never lies. The mirror never lies. There's another example I've given my class, okay? If you think about it, please think about this, for a minute. If the universe were a mirror, and if you were to look in said mirror, the reflection does what you do, right? You can't frown at the reflection and expect that reflection to smile. It just doesn't happen. You'd run away from the mirror screaming if that were the case, right? In other words, The reflection does what you do. And that's what's so important, okay? See, if we are tempted to judge something as separate from ourselves, then we are not seeing the whole picture. I don't care if we see a homeless man on the street. It is your job within yourself to see that man as wealthy, to see his blessings, to expect his blessings, drop them and let him go. Because what is behind your eyes, it's more important than what's in front of your eyes. That's key. Okay, we are so tempted. We're so tempted, you guys, to judge the outside world, not knowing that it was our creation to begin with, that everything follows our orders, that everything is our story. And if ever you're lost, if ever you get caught in the middle of something, you don't understand why you got there, then, and only then, use the reflection outside to see what's going on in your head. But before you cement it in, before you're tempted to say, oh no, the world's going to hell in a handbasket, before you condemn yourself and go down to hell in the handbasket that you've just declared, correct your perception. You are here to discover your power, your ability to understand you are the light. You are here to heal one thing and one thing only, and that thing is your separation from God. God being everything that you are. Not the partial conception, not this that I call Cindy. Cindy is an imaginary character that is simply here to teach. This is her last incarnation. She's already figured it out. She can see through the veil. She's very amused. And all she wants to do is help people see behind the veil because that is their source of power. When we uphold an illusion, what we are doing is condemning ourselves, no one else. So I don't care how tempted we are to name something out there as bad, we are doing it to our own body. That's what's so important to understand. I don't have any other way of conveying this, but you are the source projector, and if you see it with your eyes, it is your creation that is in front of you. Okay? This is why self-love is so important to the design. Most people don't understand this, you know. Can you create a reality in which you hate your guts and someone loves you unconditionally anyway? Yes. Yes. But know that that other body that supposedly loves you unconditionally is simply recognizing themselves in you because it is you. And at the end of the day, that person is still loving you, and it is up to you to correct the deficit and heal yourself because you are the only reason anything in your life occurs. You are first cause. If you can accept this, first cause of every effect, you have control over your illusion, okay? If I cannot accept it, I will be victim to my illusion. Those are the two options. There's only two, okay? You're either a victim or its creator. Which one are you gonna be, okay? That type of power, that type of mojo gives you peace over whatever is happening outside of you. It's the only thing that does. It's the only thing that does. If you can understand that, nothing will ever bother you. Whether your car breaks down, whether the house goes on fire, it all serves you. And when you do not judge it, you allow time to unfold, it actually shows you just how it did. However, the amount of suffering that we do is determined by the way that we supposedly judge our circumstance. And if we decide it's not working in our favor, we are going to suffer because that is not true. Many times we don't realize the power of hindsight. When you're going through something really tough, I 100% understand how you cannot understand that because it feels too real, because it feels too painful, or whatever the case may be. But it happened, okay? Now, your job is to let it unfold, not judge that moment as something that didn't work for you. So for example, some of us might get in a car accident, right? It seemed like the worst thing, ever, except, and we could get upset about the car and everything, okay? Except as time unfolds and we realize if we declare it's happening for us, what ends up happening, okay, is turns out that you got out of your car, you got a new one, it was replaced, everything happened in your favor, it worked out way better than you thought, your loan was paid off, and you're looking pretty good. Okay? But you have to allow and have the strength within you to stop pausing the moments that are causing you pain and understand why they're serving you. And that's not going to happen immediately sometimes. I get that. I get that. And yet I guarantee you there is not one person on these videos, watching these videos, that cannot look back through their history and say, yeah, when I went through it, I didn't understand it, but thanks to having gone through that, I wouldn't be who I am today. Not one of you can say that. And if you can understand that and love that, now you've overcome your point of contention that will cause problems outside of you because you're not rejecting these experiences anymore. You're adding value to them in a way that Neville Goddard does. Revision is so much deeper than you realize, because here's the thing. There's a million different ways to define one occurrence. Say, for example, right? I'm just gonna give you a brief example. I'm gonna get on a roller coaster. Okay? Every person on that roller coaster has a different point of perception. It's the same roller coaster. It never stopped being a roller coaster. It's the same thing, right? However, the person that's never been on a roller coaster will have a different experience than the one who always goes on them. The person in the middle has a different experience from the one that's behind, all the way in the back. The person in the front has a different point of perception. All of these points of perception are available to you. You choose. That's your power. You choose. What does it mean to you? And if you choose against you because you don't know what you're looking at is you and your creation, then you go down with the ship. And that's why I'm telling you that it is so important to understand the correct order of operations, not to judge what you're seeing outside as separate, because the only thing that will ever need healing is your idea that you are somehow separate from your own creation. If it's in front of your eyes, it's yours, baby. It's yours. We only get what's in front of our eyes because that is the experience on display. Okay? You have to understand the gateway, the gateless gate. Okay? How you get through your veil of illusion is to understand that you are the veil, first of all, and that you are the key that gets you to the other side. But until you understand that all of your experiences are on display, you can't get through the gate. And so the outside world will look as real as it can be, but it is as malleable as Play-Doh, as clay, or as anything else. Okay? Understanding that is key. Understanding that is so key, because you are determining the quality of your life. You are deciding how much you're going to suffer. You are deciding whether or not to suffer. That's on you. But if you don't understand that what you're looking at is your creation and you go ahead and condemn it, then go down with the ship, no problem. In this country, we have a problem because many people believe that their people are out to get them because of race, for example, as an example. So that means that we are the creator of all the people that persecute people because of race. We are that creator. We are the devil in that story. And until we recognize that, we can't understand what's happening. And so we might experience that. Why? Because we created that with our beliefs. Our beliefs are our jail cell. I don't have any other way of describing it. I don't have any other way of saying it, okay? It's a jail cell. But I could also say it's a 3D box. You got to think in 3D box type terms. You enter everything, you make 3D boxes. Time and space come from you. Everything comes from you. Everything comes from you. Time and space, your illusion, your story, the outer world, all of it comes from you. Okay? So, if I don't call it a prison, I can call it a 3D box. However, I determine the quality of every 3D box image that I enter. If I don't know that, I will fall asleep at the wheel and I will not understand how something is made, and I will go onto autopilot and I will still react to my world. What I'm asking you guys to do is to learn to respond, not react. Learn to understand that you're seeing yourself and nothing else. And there's a pregnant pause when you look at something, and before you've looked at it, before you've gauged it, before you've judged it, there's this pregnant pause, okay, where there's a million different responses you can give. Okay, in times of turmoil, there's a million different responses you can give. But if you can pause for just a second and say, that's my image, that's my mirror, how am I going to treat myself? And you show up different. The reflection will show up different. You have to prove this to yourself. You have to prove this to yourself 100%. No one can convince you of this but yourself. But people that apply these concepts are proving it left and right. That's what you all need to do. Because I'm so sorry, you can study Neville 10 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 3 years, 2 years. I don't care how long you've been studying Neville. There's somebody on this course that's working with me that's never heard of Neville and yet can apply these principles faster than you can blink. She has no biases. Okay? So what I mean to say is you can study these principles all your life, but if you don't apply them, then you don't know anything, do you? You know how to regurgitate the story that someone else is saying? That's not good enough. Your experience has to come from you because you've practically applied the principles. If I bothered to learn trigonometry, okay, but then I arrive in chemistry class and I don't use the same trigonometry to figure out my chem, then I didn't learn trig, did I? Because I didn't learn how to use it, how to apply it. Same thing with mathematical formulas. I can learn every mathematical formula in the world. Every single last one. I can absolutely do that. No problem. Okay? But if I don't use them to fix my word problems in front of me, then I don't know what I'm talking about. They're like ladders that lay perpendicular. You know, they're laying on the ground. They're not laying up so you can climb up them. They're a useless tool unless you apply. This is not a do nothing sort of thing. It's a very real thing, but it's understanding how time and space come from you, how the story was made before you, how it is you, and how to heal you, and choosing correctly, choosing how to respond. Okay, it is not enough to say the world is going crazy because it's our creation. Well, yeah, you can do that, except you're going to go down in the crazy world because that's what you've declared is. Do you see the difference? There's a huge difference when you understand the correct order of operations. Time and space come from you. I really understand. You guys were taught in school Newtonian physics. I get it. Time only goes forward, can't go back, blah, 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 blah. You know, you're going to run out sometime, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I understand all that. And as you get, it wasn't a problem when you were a kid, but now that you're older, it is a problem, isn't it? Except for the fact that we were conditioned incorrectly. We were very much conditioned incorrectly. Time is relational. If it were exactly the same thing, then everyone would experience the same hour identically, but we do not do that, do we? One person having fun can experience that hour and make it feel like 5 minutes have gone by, and one person who's not having fun can experience that hour and it feels like 8 have gone by. It's the same hour, but the perception of time is coming from you and no one else. So if you understand you have that kind of mojo, you act differently, you show up differently, you do not fear, you become a totally different power in itself. You show up smiling at the world, eyes just glistening, smile just genuine, because nothing can fuck with you. Excuse my language, I'm sorry, but nothing can. I don't care if the house burns down. I don't care if the car breaks. It's still happening for me. And the fact that you know that changes how you respond to the world, and that is important. It's super important, because the only thing, I'm going to say it again, the only thing we ever need to heal is the perception that we are somehow separate from our own creation, that we are somehow separate from the universe that we are, because we are not. The universe is, in fact, our entire body. And if that's my body, I'm not condemning it. I'm not going to fill it with a world filled, I'm not going to say, oh, all these people are asleep in my world. Why would I do that? So that I can go into a world where everyone's asleep, including myself? Nah, I don't think so. You see, because my word is what creates. That's law. The word has the ability to replicate itself in its own image. Okay? And you know this is true because your word creates these things outside of you, right? And it never creates unlike itself. In other words, if I said this is an acorn, I'm going to have a bunch of acorns, okay? I cannot say this is an acorn and then I get a sunflower. That would imply confusion. And the divine mind is not confused. Ever. It gives you exactly what you are. And there's a point of power that you gain when you understand this. The real meaning of seek the kingdom of God first means first seek to understand what you are so that you can then operate the veil. Then you put on the corpse and you have power over everything. It is not until then that you can deposit thoughts into other people and have them say exactly like what you want, like a ventriloquist dummy. I'm talking about real power, okay? That makes you laugh at life because you see through the illusion of yourself. That's what's important, you guys. I'm sorry if you have not discovered this. I'm so sorry, because that would mean that you're waiting for your SP. That would mean that you're waiting to heal, that you're waiting for your money, that you're waiting for your success, that you're waiting for your car, that you're waiting for this and that, right? Yeah, you would be if you don't know that you are those things already. Then the law, the universe must give you the lack, because what are you focused on? Oh, what's not there. So you get what's not there. Do you see the difference? But if you know what you are, it will harden into facts. If you know what you already are, the shortcut to all manifestation is really just realizing who you are. There's only one thing to heal. Only one thing. It's the imagined perception that you are separate from everything. The whole entire universe was placed here so you could mature. You, the individual. Nothing else exists. You are intersecting with yourself at all times. All times. Everyone that I went to school with, yep. All past lives. Everyone that I date, all my past lives. Everyone I have yet to meet, all my past lives. It's you on display. It's you on display. I cannot stress that enough. What you see with your eyes is you on display. And if you do not love that, you will suffer the consequences of missing your mark. If you condemn it, you will suffer the consequences. You know, it can't be helped. You don't love yourself. So why should you expect the mirror to love you? It's a very simple design. It's a very simple design. But when you understand how to see, you are just in a different place. I'm trying to get everybody into heaven. I want people to understand what it is they're seeing. I want people to understand how to love themselves. The only reason we were put on this planet is to learn how to do that. Therefore, become the only thing that exists in the world. Love. Become that. That's the only thing that makes everything. That's the substance that makes everything. Whether it's a dresser, a car, or my body. Love. It's the only thing that gets you in the gate. It's the only thing that helps you see beyond the illusion of yourself. I totally understand. We are so convinced that what is outside of our eyes, it's real. But what the problem is we have no freaking clue what it is we're seeing until we know it's our creation. Until we know that, we have a partial understanding of a much bigger picture. When we know what it is, when you're truly revealed to yourselves, you will understand in a way that cannot be put into words. But literally, like the Christ, you will say, holy cow, I'm the light of the world. And that is true of everyone. And you will understand the image, and you will understand the Bible, and you will understand everything. Suddenly, everything in the universe makes sense. But if your universe doesn't make sense, it's only because you don't know you. It's that simple. You're that. You're everything. Everything. Including me. Because I don't exist. I am literally just here to teach, and I'm going to be out. I'm going to go home. But not before I make sure as many people as I can understand how to get behind the veil, because that's your source of power. That's your source of power. It's when you stop asking, looking for anything outside of you, because you realize that everything is you. And as such, you keep and maintain your power. You do not condemn your world. The quality of your life changes. The quality of everything you are changes. That's important. That's important. It's really important, you guys. It's so funny. I had this whole week off, and all I've been doing is teaching my class, and I've been so happy doing that. But I realized that I was leaving some of you guys out, so I wanted to share at least that for just a few minutes, get you guys to think, get you guys to understand what it is that you're seeing, because it's never anything else but your reflected image and the power. See, here's the thing. It's real simple. If you declare that thing as not you in that moment, whatever it is, I don't care what it is, okay, as not you, okay, you just gave that thing a life of its own, and it will have power over you. Because it is not until you own it as you that you have the power to change it. So as long as you consider something to be separate, you gave it power. If you consider your SP to be separate from you, your SP has a power over you, doesn't it? If you consider anything outside of you, whether it's an illness or anything else for that matter, as separate, you do not have power over it. The minute you recognize what you are going through is caused by you, you have the ability to change it. Because here's the thing. You are an eternal being, eternal, and every choice you make actually quantum leaps you from one reality to the next. You don't know that's what you're doing. I get that, right? And yet, that's what you're doing. You're quantum leaping with every single choice you make, okay? But every choice you made, there's alternate universe you that did the opposite in endless combinations. There are infinite possibilities. But when we limit ourselves to our 3D perception, we limit what's possible in our world. Come on. Think about it. Okay? But when you understand how everything is made, you don't limit these things. You understand that you're quantum leaping. You understand that you're leaping through time. You can do anything you want to the degree that you understand that consciousness is the only reality. It's the only one. What's behind your eyes, way more important than what's in front of your eyes. If I only use what's in front of my eyes to see, you could say I was blind. as blind gets. Okay? It's your single eye, your third eye, what must be filled with light so that the rest of your world is filled with light, and you will not cast a shadow, and you will understand who you are inside every human being. But the design doesn't fail, and you're in charge of it. But I promise you, if you judge incorrectly, I don't care what it looks like, you're going down with the ship. But if you trust in that power inside of you, if you give it to that power, then you do nothing else. You stand there, but you expect this to be corrected. Whatever this is, it will be. So you don't discover that by accident. You discover that by actually applying it. I want you to understand, the power of God inside you is like electricity. It existed. It was always in the air. Until we harnessed it, we lived in the dark. It's the same thing. Until I harness God's power, I live in the dark, completely unaware of what it is I'm seeing outside. But until I harness that power of knowing that I am everything at once and understanding what's behind my veil and knowing that my body is simply a remote control that controls everything outside of me with my story, I'm going to choose better. I'm going to choose better. Reality is nothing but a bunch of ones and zeros. Ones and zeros, like a programming language. Ones and zeros. One is what you know, and zero is the empty space of potential that can be anything. And it's ones and zeros, ones and zeros, ones and zeros, ones and zeros. Okay? Within that zero is the field of everything. You are in that all the time. All the time. You actually stand as the gatekeeper between the ones and zeros. Okay? Well, here's the thing. Between the ones and zeros is this. If you understand you're the gatekeeper, you can have whatever you want. If you don't know you're the gatekeeper, you're going to cement in your past perception. That's going to be what you see, and you're going to feel helpless. But I promise you that if you feel helpless, then that's only because you have no idea who you are, or what you've created, or what you're looking at. And remember, God's power needs to be harnessed like electricity so you don't live in the dark. You prove it to yourself from practical application. Practical. But you got to apply it. Okay? That's what I want to talk to you guys about. That's it. Understand what it is you're seeing. Really, truly love that. Because the only thing on display is your story, my love. That's it. That's it. It's your story. Don't condemn that. It's in the application. It's in the application. If I bothered to learn all of those math formulas and never could apply them to a word problem, then I didn't learn anything at all. If you bothered to understand everything Neville has to say and you don't apply it, you haven't learned anything at all. Know that. Know the difference. Because one way gets you into heaven, and the other way keeps you cemented in 3D. You can go either way. You can go towards the past in 3D, or you can go towards the 5D of possibility of everything, knowing that you can define something as you want. You see, mankind was given the right to name everything in Eden. This has not changed. But if you don't know you're in Eden and you don't know that you have the right to name anything still, then you haven't understood the Bible when it told you that you had this right. It's like so simple. Like I don't understand, you know? But it is what it is. If you can apply it, it changes everything. It changes everything. And then believe me when I say a smile is genuine. Because nothing phases you. Nothing phases you. Okay? You are the gatekeeper. You are the 5D holder of the 3D you are looking at. The only reason you are standing there is because it is your creation. And you, in case you don't remember, are entering there to heal your perception and nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else exists. Your perception. This is your 3D box. Your perception. Okay? It's your 3D box, and it can be a jail cell if you don't understand how to use it and how to make new ones. It is what it is. Okay, my guys? All right. So I hope that gives you some food for thought. I hope you guys think about this. Think about it before you look outside your eyes and condemn something as not you. Remember. Yes, Paul, so within and so without. Yes. So if your friend is sick, you create it. Yes. You're seeing, actually, let me break that down. So in this example, Paola, right? You're saying if your friend is sick, you created it or you accept it and just love them. Okay. If your friend is sick, what they're showing you is your perception of them that you need to heal to prove the law to yourself. So if your friend is sick, it is your perception that needs to be healed. When your perception is healed, the person is healed. That's how you prove the law, and you don't even have to tell them. You don't even have to tell them that's what you're doing. But you can appreciate the messenger for showing up that way. You can appreciate the messenger for showing up that way because that helps you see. That helps you see. Appreciate everybody's journey, you guys. But know that everyone is showing you inside yourself. Only yourself. And if you understand how to heal that. See, I'm not asking you to bypass 3D. I'm not asking you to bypass 3D at all. I'm not saying ignore it. I'm saying look at it, understand it's your creation, and then choose better. Because that's how you prove that you're God of your reality. The only way. But if you look at it and keep it, then you've missed your mark. It's okay. You'll repeat it. You'll just play the role. You'll go back and start in the middle, just like that dream. And you'll resume a new spot on a new point of trajectory, and you'll still look at the same thing, and you still need to start realizing it's still you. If you miss the mark, you have plenty of chances. That's not a big deal. But if you've done missing the mark because you understand everything is you show up different. You show up different. And best of all, you discover that you're the intelligence behind the veil and that you live in 5D, not 3D. And you finally understand what everybody's been saying. And you get it in a whole new light and your eyes just twinkle because you're so happy. Because you get it. You get it. I want everybody to know this feeling. I want everybody to know this feeling. We are the universe. Point blank. That's it. It's very simple. From the minute we stop condemning it, we see a different world. This is biblical. Renew your mind, see a whole new world. That means your mind is responsible for the universe that you see. And if you condemn it, you have simply condemned yourself. Nothing else. Nothing else. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care who it is. Trust in what's inside of you. That's the real power. Not the illusion. Yeah? Okay. All right. We're getting there. Yes. Paola, just so you know, you specifically, I'm talking to you. You have no idea how proud I am of you because you don't know anything, Neville, and you're mastering it quicker and faster than anybody I've ever seen. I'm so, so impressed. And so stay with it and just remember, you got this. Okay, mujer? I love you. All right. Bye-bye, guys. I love you.